When you think of web browsers, one name probably stands out among the rest. An icon of the past. Netscape. In 1997, it was on top of the world. In 2007, well, we can say the exact opposite of that. Destroyed and left to rot by Microsoft's corporate practices of the 90s, it somehow held on. It was still around by 2007. But that was about to change. Netscape Navigator 9 was the end of an era. And, yeah. I have no other way to end this off. So yes, this is Netscape Navigator 9. Now while this loads, you may notice something. This has a splash screen. Netscape was basically pretty unique as it had a splash screen. Even though Opera has a splash screen, as well as a special variant for its counterpart Opera GX, nowadays, this was something that usually most browsers don't usually include. Which, this was also a tradition with Netscape. In other terms, Netscape stuck with some of its traditions all the way to the bitter end. Anyways, opening this up, we get an interface similar to that of Firefox, since this version was actually based off of Firefox. Yeah, which is funny enough, the browser that was influenced by Netscape. Wow, we've gone full cycle here. But yeah, so this homepage is not original. I made it in front page who knows how long ago. And yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go open up a PDF here of all things because yes, PDFs could be read in your web browser even back then. Eliminating the need to use a PDF reader, though a lot of people probably still used PDF readers back then because they came pre-installed. Anyway, PDF readers are pretty self-explanatory. They read PDFs, yeah, so let's actually go view some websites. The first website I'm going to view is a prologue or something for a video game, but this is supposed to be in Japanese, and I am not using a computer that is localized for Japanese, so it's going to just appear as absolute garbage text. And I know this because that's what happens when you don't use properly localized stuff with completely different character sets. It's happened in another case before for me when trying to install Adobe Audition. Anyway, yeah, so I decided to go look at the prologue for Touhou 8, a game that I've previously kind of briefly touched up on in an older video. So, yeah. So now I'm going to close this tab because, yes, this version has tabs. I'm pretty sure that was in older versions, but, well, this wasn't in, like, the old Netscape Navigator 2 and 3 and all those versions. Anyway, it's time to cover a pretty iconic piece of Netscape history. The Welcome to Netscape page that you may be familiar with if you've checked out old versions of Netscape. I don't really have much to say about this site, so we're going to move on to Google. And yes, you can type in the Google search bar. Yes, I know this is a version of the Google site from 2001. I don't really care though, because it's what I had on hand, okay? Anyway, we have the Microsoft website from the same time period. Yeah. It's a website, alright. Also, by the way, these hyperlinks do not work because these are linked to sites on the Internet Archive, since that's where I got these website pages. It's through the Wayback Machine, so yeah. Anyway, we also have the Apple website. Unfortunately, I don't have an Apple that I can use for a joke here, but well, oh well. And the site isn't about apples either. What a shame. Anyway, it is proudly presented at the bottom of the page that this site is hosted using macOS 10 server. And also, it looks like Apple was charging lots of money for their products even back then. Anyway, moving on, we have a website that's basically remained unchanged since its inception, that being the World Wide Web project page, which has been around since basically the inception of the World Wide Web. A pretty self-explanatory page, so we're immediately going to move on to, I don't know what page is next. Oh, it's this page, which also shows how other sites may handle fonts and text in different, character sets, but everything's encoded correctly. And we're also going to view the page source here. As you can see, we have a font that isn't actually installed on this computer, so, yeah. And also, at the end of the day, this is all just HTML, and CSS, and JavaScript, and all those other languages. So, yeah. Anyway, it's time to view the page source, which shows I made this in front page 4, aka Microsoft Front Page 2000. I don't really have much else to say about the page info. I was then looking for some things in the sidebars to cover, and then this pop-up showed up. I want to mention this because this shows that AOL was aware that Netscape was adding support, because, well, AOL was in charge of Netscape at the time. And basically, they wanted you to switch to, like, Flock, which was a similar web browser, or Firefox, which Netscape was based off of, as I previously mentioned. Anyway, what I wanted to look at is this mini browser thingy, because I've never seen this before. So, if I had to guess, I'm not going to try to experiment with this, but I'm assuming this would have been like some like browser if you need to do like some quick lookup thingy or something. So, yeah. Anyway, we also have browser history, which is so easy to access. All you need to do to find it is just use a sidebar. Yeah, I know what to say. Anyway, we also have bookmarks. Yeah, pretty normal, though I don't know why I didn't put the bookmarks at the top, like normally. I did have bookmarks saved in here from older videos, because yes, I did make a video on this browser last year around this time. So, yeah. We also have the link pad. I'm pretty sure this probably was supposed to be like some sort of launch pad for like websites or something, I don't know. Anyways, we basically have this about window, which is not similar to how it was like in the original Netscape, because obviously this is based off of Firefox. Anyway, we have web search, which allows us to also change the browser search engine, with the default being set to netscape.com, obviously, because Netscape was also an ISP. You could get your internet services through Netscape, and you kind of still can. Anyway, we also have downloads here. This should hopefully be pretty self-explanatory. This is where things that you download go. And then they also end up in a downloads folder. We also have add-ons, which we can see extensions and themes in. Next up, we have Error Console, which features all errors, warnings, messages, and we can clear all of these, which is exactly what I did. Next up, we have... oh wait, I already covered this. Last but not least, for this last version of Netscape's feature scope, we have options, which gives us a few different options that we can change. Not going to necessarily change any of these, because I feel comfortable with how they are right now. So, yeah. Last but not least, I'm going to treat all of you Toho fans to a bit of a treat. We're going to look at an English version of the Toho 7 prologue to end off this video. Why? I don't know why. Well, we are gonna do that. Yeah, it's a pretty good game. It's a pretty good story. So, yeah. And well, that's basically it. Thanks for watching. I will see you next week. Bye!